Welcome to Jedi Dropouts. I am Ryan Taylor.
And I am the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man too sweet, too sour, the women's pit, the man's regret, and what you see is what you get, and what you don't is sweeter yet. I lift barbell plates, I eat T-bone steaks. I'm sweeter than a German chocolate cake. James Moss.
I won't disagree. Hello, everybody. We're back to our regular format this week.
Our regularly scheduled program.
Yes. This week's episode is all about X-Men. I know previous episodes have been a little looser with themes, and we realized if we kept doing that, we would run out of shit in about 2 months. So let's do some specific episodes. Let's do specifically X-Men for the next...
And the X-Men universe.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, Deadpool hasn't been in an X-Men movie yet, but...
It's the same universe.
Yeah.
And it does have the Xavier Mansion in there. It does have Colossus.
I just watched it yesterday, and holy shit. I forgot how good the jokes about the mansion are. He's like, what is it? It's almost as if you can only afford just the two of you.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
big mansion. Good. Surprised I only see the two of you. And my favorite line was, "We're going to see the professor, McAvoy or Stewart."
I was just going there. These timelines mess me up.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about some of the upcoming X-Men shit they got going. Have you seen Legion yet?
No.
I only started it within the last week. I'm halfway through. I mean, it's 8 episodes. I've watched 4. It's a weird-ass show, and I haven't read a lot of the Legion comics. I've heard it kind of strays, but at the same time, I'm only 4 episodes in. I really don't know what's real and what's not.
Okay.
I recommend it. I mean, it's X-Men related and it's quality, which is generally only half the time anyway.
Yeah.
Dan Stevens plays Legion, and that would be Beast from the new Beauty and the Beast.
Nice.
That's the guy they got. Aubrey Plaza's also in it, and
I like her. I
don't really know anybody else for the most part. I looked them up, and I didn't recognize any of the movies or TV shows they were in, so I just said, it's a pretty strong cast, and it's kind of scary, actually. Like, it's scarier than most horror movies these days in terms of genuine scares. There's a character that initially I thought was the Blob, and I'm still not sure who the character's supposed to be. It's not the Blob, but a lot of people are saying it's maybe Mojo.
Okay.
And he's just sort of this obese demon-looking guy with bright yellow eyes that creeps around in closets and in dreams and shit. And whenever he shows up, is genuinely terrifying. So I recommend that. But also, they have recently announced and shown the trailer for The Gifted. Have you seen that yet?
I have not.
It's a Fox X-Men show, also somehow in the universe, I believe. It's got Stephen Moyer from True Blood as Reed Strucker, who is not a character that I believe has ever been in the X-Men universe, but the name Strucker is pretty familiar. Baron von Strucker, right, is what comes to mind. There's the Strucker family. Apparently the show is about a family, I believe, I don't know all the details, something about the kids are finding out about their powers for the first time. But what's interesting is the side characters. Jamie Chung is Blink.
Cool.
Sean Teal as Eclipse. Emma Dumont as Polaris. And Blair Redford as Thunderbird are all main cast.
Sweet.
So, I mean, that could be good. It could be a miss. Again, as we very well know with the X-Men movies, they're...
very hit or miss.
They're either the best thing you've seen all year or the worst piece of shit this decade.
Yeah.
The other X-Men show coming up being the Deadpool animated series, which we touched on recently. I don't think we need to go into any more detail about the animated series, but we should probably talk about Deadpool too.
Yeah. Yeah. Where do you want to go with this?
Well, I got the info here on it. Deadpool, Vanessa, Colossus, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, Blind Al, and Dopinder are all back.
Dopinder's back.
Yes.
That's good.
I want to see where that storyline went, because last we saw him, he had a guy locked in the fucking trunk of his car.
And got in a fender bender.
Yeah, he did do it, didn't he? He ran, didn't he? I don't know.
He got rear-ended with Bantu.
Yeah, Bantu, that's right.
In his trunk. And he also had this big duffel bag full of guns and ammo.
I forgot about that.
In the car.
I remembered it, but I didn't really take it into context. Oh shit! I wonder if Deadpool's gonna break Dopinder out of jail.
Can you imagine what kind of shit Dopinder got in? Getting in a car accident with a man locked in his trunk and a duffel bag full of every gun Deadpool owns.
What if Dopinder is the actual villain for Deadpool 2? He's out to get vengeance.
It's all your fault, Mr. Poole.
Weasel might be back. It's unconfirmed, but it looks likely that TJ Miller would reprise Weasel.
I would hope that TJ Miller's back.
I want to see what happened with Weasel and Blind Al at the end there. Because last we saw them, they were going to go get fucked up, I believe.
Yeah. At least Weasel offered.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure they did.
Yeah.
We touched on this in an earlier episode, but Domino is going to be in this movie.
Yep.
I don't know how to pronounce it. Zazie Beetz or Zazie Beetz from Atlanta. Again, she's awesome. Josh Brolin as Cable looks amazing.
Yes.
And here's where it gets exciting. Jack Kesey is in the movie. I don't know who the fuck he is. And
I've never heard the name before.
I looked it up. He was in something recently. I don't remember. If you're listening to this, you can Google it. I don't remember. It was not something I've ever seen. But he's rumored, and take this with a grain of salt, he's rumored to be playing Black Tom.
Who the fuck's that?
That's what I said. I said, okay, that doesn't mean anything to me. So I read up and I saw, here's the rumor that's going around. Black Tom in the comics is a known criminal who generally works with Juggernaut.
Ooh.
And the rumor is maybe Juggernaut in Deadpool 2.
As long as it's not what they did with Vinnie Jones
No.
in The Last Stand. Because I fucking love me some Juggernaut, as I'm going to mention later on in this episode.
Oh, okay.
And so when I saw that Juggernaut was going to be in X3, I almost blew loads everywhere. And then what they did with him, especially what happened at the end of X3, like he's just chasing Shadowcat through, and then he gets so close to Leech that he loses his powers and just runs headlong into a wall and knocks himself unconscious. That pissed me off.
Yeah, most things about X3 pissed me off, to be honest.
Yeah. Fuck that movie.
You know, I don't really think about Juggernaut a whole lot, but looking back, I really did. Like, Juggernaut was one of the first action figures I ever had.
Yeah.
I had for some reason I had a Wolverine and a Juggernaut. And then later on, like a few years later, when they started to release more detailed characters from like the X-Force, I believe, I got a second Juggernaut. So I had like 2 Juggernaut action figures kicking around. And as a kid, I had a VHS of 3 episodes of 3 different cartoons.
Mm.
And it was a Fantastic Four cartoon. I think there was an X-Men episode, and there was an episode of Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. And that one, I believe, featured Juggernaut, and I watched that over and over. But I was thinking, when I read this, I was like, shit, who would play Juggernaut? Because Vinnie Jones, like...
I like Vinnie Jones.
It's not Vinnie Jones, it's how they did it.
Yes.
And I'm just thinking, like, who would fit? And are you a Game of Thrones fan?
I've never seen a single episode.
I didn't think you were. You didn't strike me as a Game of Thrones type of guy. There's a guy in the show. The actor's name I cannot pronounce for sure. They nicknamed the actor Thor Bjornsson. He's an Icelandic weightlifter.
Oh yeah,
you know Thor Bjornsson?
Yeah.
He plays the mountain in the show. I think he would be fucking perfect.
I can see.
He has this the body type of a fucking.
He's a behemoth.
He looks like a superhuman.
Yeah.
You don't need to add any CGI. You don't need to do any camera tricks. You just put him on screen, and that's how fucking big he is.
Yep.
And he doesn't need a lot of lines. You can give him some lines.
Well, it depends on the plot of the movie.
Yeah.
Because I think Juggernaut can carry most of a movie by himself.
Yeah.
As a villain. Maybe not now that they've done the whole apocalypse thing and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, see, in my opinion, if they used Juggernaut for the villain in like X2 before they get into like Phoenix and people like that, then that would have worked.
Yeah.
Because it makes sense to use Magneto as the villain in the first X-Men movie because he is like the staple X-Men villain. But Juggernaut just has so much potential, and they shit the bed.
They did.
They wasted an opportunity when they used Juggernaut the way they did, because they didn't touch at all on the whole Cain Marko being Charles Xavier's half-brother thing. And he's so powerful, and they could have had the entire movie just be they could have shown Cain getting the Crimson Gem Ceterak, getting his powers, realizing like, hey, I finally have something that can give me the upper hand on Charles. I have all this resentment. He comes in, plows through the mansion, flattens it, instead of having William Stryker and all of his men come in and attack the mansion that way. Even though that was really cool, what they did.
Yeah.
They could have had Juggernaut just flatten the mansion and take Charles. And then the entire plot of the movie could have been a handful of X-Men trying to take down Juggernaut to get the Professor back.
Well, maybe that's what Deadpool 2 will be. I mean, not the Professor part of it, but I mean, you've got Deadpool, Domino, Cable, Dopinder, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, and Colossus. I mean, that's a team versus Juggernaut. And the thing I was thinking about
and it would take a team like that to take down Juggernaut.
Yeah. What I was thinking about when I rewatched Deadpool is, what the fuck is the villain's name again? Francis?
Ajax.
Like, it's not a big villain.
No.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't take away from the movie at all.
No, well, I think it kind of adds to it just because introducing Deadpool, bringing Deadpool to mainstream audiences' attention, they needed the whole, like, Francis, where the fuck is Francis type thing to get the laughs in. But now that everyone and their mom knows who Deadpool is, now they can bring in a bigger name villain because they don't need to establish Deadpool anymore.
No.
Deadpool is established. They could have whatever villain they want. They could have Deadpool fight Ash Ketchum, and it would sell. Deadpool 2 is going to sell, regardless of who they put in there. So they might as well just put in someone who is going to just put Jaws on the floor.
And it's only a year away.
Yeah.
Next June. The director of the first one, Tim Miller, did drop out. But, name drop.
Name drop out?
The new director is, I don't know how to pronounce this, David Leitch. He co-directed the first John Wick movie. And he is about to release a movie called Atomic Blonde, starring Charlize Theron.
Cool.
Which I wasn't interested in, but I will be now. But I mean, John Wick.
Atomic Blonde is no atomic beard, but I know nothing about Atomic Blonde.
No, I never
throw that call back.
I heard the title, and I never bothered to really look into it. But I heard Mark Bernardin of Batman on Batman. That's one of the movies he's most excited for this year.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go check out a trailer later today.
Yeah, if Mark Bernardin's excited for it, then I'll watch it.
And let's touch on the other three X-Men movies next year.
Yeah.
So the first one they're going to be releasing next April, The New Mutants.
Yes.
We have Anya Taylor-Joy, who I'm not familiar with, as Magic. Maisie Williams from Game of Thrones as Wolfsbane. Rumored Henry Zaga he was in this show 13 Reasons Why, I believe. He's apparently supposed to be playing Sunspot. And there's a rumor that Rosario Dawson is going to play Cecilia Reyes.
Okay. The only actor I'm familiar with there is Rosario Dawson. The only actual mutant there that I'm familiar with is Sunspot.
Yeah,
and I'm not super familiar.
No, me either.
I read a little bit of X-Force.
Okay, yeah.
When I was younger, so I'm a little familiar with Sunspot from that.
Mm-hmm. You haven't seen Maisie Williams, but trust me, she's amazing. She does.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not even so sure about her acting ability. She's good, but she's very lovable. Arya Stark from Game of Thrones. You'll be hard pressed to find someone who's like, oh, I fucking hate her. She's a favorite, right?
Nice.
What's interesting about The New Mutants is it's a horror film. It's going to be a straight up horror film.
If there's one thing I love besides comic book movies, it's horror films.
See, I didn't have any expectations for this. I heard New Mutants and it comes out next year, and I thought, no, this is not going to be a good idea.
Yep.
But in my opinion, the X-Men universe is at its best when it branches off.
Yes.
I mean, look at recent history. Deadpool, they went completely left field. A vulgar, comedic, hyper-violent movie.
Yes.
And then they went total 180, and it is just as violent, but it's much more of a gritty drama in Logan.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe a horror film will work, right? And I'm going to address this because there's going to be concerns. The director is a guy named Josh Boone, best known for directing The Fault in Our Stars. Here's my argument. The best directors can come from the most unlikely places, and this is proven by this little quiz I've prepared for you. I'm going to tell you a movie, and you're going to have to figure out what awesome superhero movie the director also did later on.
All right, time for me to shit the bed.
Zathura. And the same director did fucking Elf.
Which director was it?
Wow, if I give you the name, you'll know. Jon Favreau.
Okay, so he did the Iron Man and Iron Man 2.
Yeah, and he's gone on to do Jungle Book. I mean,
yeah.
I'm not saying Elf is a bad movie, but
I just didn't know that Jon Favreau directed Elf.
Yeah, right? It's interesting. Bring It On and The Breakup.
See, The Breakup I didn't mind.
No, it's not even...
It's
not even that they're bad movies, it's just that...
Jon Favreau was also in The Breakup, wasn't he?
He was, yeah.
Yeah. Fuck, who directed that?
Yeah, it's not a name that I knew until the superhero movie they directed came out.
Who directed it?
Peyton Reed. Yeah.
Still not ringing any bells.
That is the director of Ant-Man.
Okay.
Bring It On, to break up to Ant-Man.
Jesus.
And here's the biggest one. You, Me, and Dupree. Which we're not gonna endorse that movie. I've never seen it. That's fine. That's quite fine.
Yeah, who directed that one?
The fucking Russo brothers. They did You, Me, and Dupree, and then they did Winter Soldier and Civil War.
God damn.
And now they're doing Infinity War. So you know what? Maybe the guy who did The Fault in Our Stars is the next big fucking superhero director, right?
Maybe.
And
just blew my fucking mind.
this is all hypothetical, so if the movie ends up being a piece of shit, it's not my fault.
No.
But speaking of potential pieces of shit, X-Men Dark Phoenix next November. Literally the only confirmed cast is Sophie Turner, who not a bad actress, but a terrible Jean Grey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Directed by Simon Kinberg, who has never directed before. He has produced basically everything that's ever been done in the X-Men universe.
So he's making his directorial debut on an X-Men movie.
Yes. He did write on his own. He is the sole writer of the Sherlock Holmes, the Guy Ritchie Sherlock Holmes, and Fan Four Stick. So this guy he could be anywhere with his directing, but directing aside, back when they did the original X-Men trilogy, with a cast that I loved, I was totally into. Honestly, when they did Dark Phoenix, I didn't give a shit about it then. So with a cast I don't like, I can't see how I'm gonna care.
Right now, my mind is going to, there's no way they can do Dark Phoenix any worse than X3 did.
Yeah.
But I've been wrong before.
They did Apocalypse bad, though, right?
They did Apocalypse bad, yes.
I recently watched the animated series when they did Apocalypse. Like, it's not that hard of a story to get right.
No.
Like, I mean, with how good First Class and Days of Future Past were, just keep it more the same.
Yeah. I just had so many fucking problems with the Apocalypse movie.
Yeah, well, we're gonna rank the X-Men movies later on, and we can touch on. I mean, we're doing top 5. I'm assuming Apocalypse didn't make either one of our top 5s, but we can touch on it a little bit there.
I could do an entire episode on just why I didn't like that movie.
Maybe we should do an episode on shit we didn't like. Get some of the negatives out. I think, Dark Phoenix.
Why is it that the two movies that have had Angel in it have been two of the worst X-Men movies?
Yeah.
X3 and Apocalypse.
See, Angel, I don't know. I never really cared for Angel that much.
Me either, but...
And Angel's not exactly my problem, though.
No. Well, some of the things involving Angel in Apocalypse did kind of piss me off.
But like if you took Angel out of those two movies, they'd still be shitty movies.
Yes. But, like, Apocalypse supposedly gives everyone this big power-up when he turns them into horsemen.
Yeah.
And then when Angel's fighting Nightcrawler just kind of yanks his tail and bumps Angel's head into a beam, and he's down for the count for a while. And then when he gets back up, and him and Psylocke get onto the top of the Blackbird, is that the name of the jet? They get on the fucking plane.
Yeah.
And they carve a hole in the top. Out of the two of them, it's the one with the big expansive wings that chooses to go into the small enclosed area, leaving the one who cannot fly on top of a plane.
Yeah.
That's just shitty writing.
Yeah. I don't know with that movie.
Magneto gets a power-up that he could basically rip the planet in half.
Is it possible that maybe it's not the X-Men franchise that's hit or miss, it's Bryan Singer that's hit or miss?
Yeah, that's possible.
Bryan Singer's a fucking piece of shit anyway.
Yeah. Magneto gets such a big power-up, and it seems like Psylocke, Storm, and Angel got an upgrade that could have been done by Exhibit on an episode of Pimp My Ride.
Oh god, that's perfect.
Just a flat screen put in the back, like Angel just got some decals and chrome put on him, and fucking that was it.
Okay. That's good. That's a good point to move on to Let's pop a question here. Question of today is,
Yes.
which X-Men would you most like to see in the Avengers? Which I should clarify is the Avengers movies, the MCU, because obviously there have been many X-Men in the Avengers in the comics over the years, you know. I'll go first.
Cool.
The obvious choice, since that's on everyone's mind, is Wolverine.
Yes.
I didn't want to say the obvious choice, but I did want to say that it would be really fucking cool to have a Wolverine Hulk fight at some point.
Yeah.
And that would be the main reason I would choose him. But if we're going otherwise, I'm gonna say Storm. And
I was just thinking that.
my reasoning is Black Panther.
Yeah.
Because historically they were married in the comics. And also, there's nobody in the current MCU that has powers similar to Storm. That'll be a new aspect to add there, right?
Yeah. I was kind of thinking Juggernaut just because...
Oh, yeah. I didn't think villains.
Like, dipping back, I love me some Juggernaut.
Yep.
And a Juggernaut Hulk fight would be amazing. But someone else I thought would be kind of cool that I really don't see ever being in any X-Men movie, but I would like to see Forge.
Okay, yeah.
Just because Forge can build anything. Anything that he can imagine, anything he can dream up, he can build.
So he's like if Hal Jordan was a carpenter.
Yes. Just seeing Forge work with or opposed to Tony Stark
Yeah.
with the kind of tech that movie could pull up. Whoo, buddy. That would be impressive.
Yep. I just thought of another one when you said Juggernaut. I thought villains. You know, Magneto would be a huge upgrade on some of the villains they're putting in the MCU.
Yeah.
Now, not the Magneto we've seen in the X-Men movies, which is a separate issue altogether, but the traditional sort of cartoony, bright purple and red costumed, just the classic villain archetype of wanting domination, and...
Well, let's just think about this for a second. How many of the Avengers right now would be able to do anything against Magneto?
Hulk?
Like Iron Man.
Iron Man.
Useless.
Cap Shield's useless. Mjolnir would ooh, how would that work?
I have no idea.
That would be interesting.
Because it is magical, but
Hawkeye would be
in Thor
useless.
Ragnarok, in the trailer, you can see Mjolnir being broken.
Yeah.
So, will that come back? Vision, his...
How would Ant-Man, how would that work?
Well, there's metal in his suit.
Yeah, so Magneto could fuck with the suit.
Yeah.
See, I like that,
Black Panther's suit is a vibranium weave.
Fuck. It would just be Hulk, wouldn't it?
Hawkeye, unless he makes arrows that contain no metal.
Yeah.
But then they probably wouldn't have...
Would they have Hawkeye resort to like a typical, like an old-fashioned bow?
Maybe, but...
What would that do?
I mean, Magneto kind of wears armor anyway, so what kind of piercing power would those arrows have? He wouldn't be able to have many of his tech arrows.
Mm-hmm.
Scarlet Witch and Hulk.
Yep. Fuck.
Bucky has a metal arm.
I'm not sure about Doctor Strange. Groot.
There you go. But the majority of the Avengers would be fucking useless against Magneto.
That's really interesting. Marvel, if you're listening.
Call us up.
Marvel's one of our
Yep.
one of our 5 listeners. it's literally like me, you, our parents, 1 or 2 friends, and Kevin Feige.
Yep.
Okay, let's move on to
Brian Singer's listening and crying because we called him a piece of shit.
Oh, fuck him. You know what? If Brian Singer, if I ran into Brian Singer today, I wouldn't suck up to him. I'd say, go fuck yourself, you goddamn pedophile. No, don't want to get too political. Google it, look it up. He's a pedophile. Let's move on. Speaking of pedophiles, let's talk about Pokemon.
Ouch.
Let's talk about an old man who lures a little kid into his lab to give him a free pet. Okay, in all seriousness, let's talk about fucking Pokemon.
Well, not fucking Pokemon. But
Jesus Christ.
this episode is gone to shit.
I'll make sure we get the little red E on this one's little explicit sign on iTunes.
Yeah. Please do.
We're doing fighting type today.
Yeah, we're doing fighting type.
Now it's been a few episodes since we did this. I took notes from my attempts at picking a favorite Pokemon, and see, on your side of it, you've got all these strategies and specific moves. I don't really know what I'm talking about, so I'm gonna go a little less serious if possible, and I just decided to pick the funniest Pokemon I could come up with.
That's cool.
So let's go right into it. Gen 1.
I said Hitmonchan.
Nice.
Gen 1 probably has one of the best selections of fighting Pokemon, in my opinion.
They have one of the best selections, period, because they hadn't run out of ideas.
Yeah. They weren't scraping the bottom of the barrel. And I mean, even though his head looks kind of like the Hamburger Helper oven mitt kind of guy.
Yeah. Also kind of looks like a broom.
Yeah. For me, like, it was either Hitmonchan or Goro being Machamp.
Oh, fuck. I was like, oh shit, I don't remember that one. Goro, like fucking Mortal Kombat?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I picked Hitmonchan just because
I want to see Goro fight a Pikachu.
I don't like Hitmonlee.
No?
Just, I don't like the look of him.
Yeah.
He looks like he has Go-Go Gadget limbs.
Yeah, his legs are kind of weird because he doesn't have knees.
Yeah.
He
doesn't have a mouth.
No.
Like, where does he eat
He's
from?
got very thick eyeliner.
Yeah. Like, how does he eat?
I don't know. Maybe he has mouths on the bottom of his feet.
I don't know. But, yeah, I've just always liked Hitmonchan. It kind of looks like he's wearing a skirt, but that's okay. It's 2017. You can wear what you want.
Yeah,
you fair. Do you.
That's brave of him in the 90s, you know?
It was.
Hitmonchan. I forgot which one was. Hitmonchan.
Yeah.
I picked Mankey. Mostly because Mankey, besides Furret, has to be one of the laziest Pokemon creations ever. Like, I'm thinking the designer drew a monkey and called him Monkey and brought it to the head. And he was like, what are you doing? That's just a monkey. He said, 1 second. And he
added a little line.
He erased the mouth and nose, drew a little fucking pig snout, and added the line to make the O and A. Ah, Mankey! Oh, that's totally different. Now we've got a Pokemon.
Yeah. It's too similar to a real thing.
So let's change one letter and maybe make it rounder. What do you got for Gen 2?
I said Heracross.
Heracross. Is that the... it's like that weird bug thing. It looks like a beetle or something.
Yeah, it's like a rhinoceros beetle.
Yeah, there you go. I'm not big on bugs, so I try and avoid knowledge of them as well. Whatever logic that is.
Yeah.
What are those little ants with all the legs? You mean spiders? Yeah, that's the one. I said Hitmontop because, as you said, the design in Gen 1, Hitmonchan, Hitmonlee, named after Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee. I didn't look it up, but I assume it seems pretty straightforward. Is a nice sort of how do I put this? It's a nice way of paying respects to some of the greatest martial artists of all time.
Yeah.
And then in Gen 2, somehow they were like, well, I don't know any other martial artists. There can't be any more. So let's make him a fucking spin top.
Yeah. Can't be like Hitmonlee or anything after Donnie Yen.
No.
They could have even done Hitmon Van Damme.
Hitmon Norris.
Hitmon Stallone. But no, they made a dreidel that does capoeira.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. And Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee have very specific faces with like detailed eyes, and Hitmontop is just it's like the fucking frown emoji. It's just the fucking arrow and 2 dots. And what is he wearing a V-neck that goes down to his fucking crotch?
It looks like he was wearing a wrestling singlet.
Yeah, on his feet too.
Hitmon Lesnar.
Hitmon Lesnar. Okay, listen. Gen 3.
I said Hariyama.
Hariyama. I don't remember that one. I tried to look up as many as possible and try to familiarize myself, but I don't remember that one.
He's basically a sumo wrestler.
Okay, yeah. Again, I like that all your fighting types seem to be based on actual fighting. You know, like real world.
Hitmon Yokozuna.
I thought you were gonna go Hitmon Yoga.
Hitmon Honda from Street Fighter.
I was playing Street Fighter 2 the other day. I noticed something really funny. Okay, so Street Fighter 2, you've got the overworld map, and you go to different countries and you fight different fighters.
Yes.
And they're all sort of stereotypes. Like, you go to Russia and you fight
A bear wrestler.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah. And you got Ryu out of Japan, right? I'm getting the countries right there. But then you go to fucking Brazil and fight a green fucking monster. Like
that can electrocute you for some reason.
So that's the thing. This is my question. Were they being awful on purpose, or did they just stop me like, I've never met a Brazilian. What do you think they look like? And that's what they came up with, like a green monster with orange hair that electrocutes people and walks on all fours. Like, and then
the first UFC comes out and Hoist Gracie's here, like doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, subbing everyone, and they're like, "Well, fuck, we went way out in left field."
Anyway, Gen 3, I picked Breloom. Because how many more fucking things could they fit in this Pokemon? It's a mushroom mixed with a kangaroo that's a fighting grass type that seems to be wearing a helmet that looks like a fucking frog's head. What the fuck? What kind of fucking drugs are you on to come up with this shit? A kangaroo mushroom?
That's probably what they were on, kangaroo mushrooms.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus Christ.
Like, I love that when you go through the generations, it gets, like, more and more complex because they're just like, oh shit, what's something we have not done? I don't know. Here's a phone book, I guess. I don't think that... Does that exist yet? I don't know. Is there a phone book Pokemon?
Not yet.
I don't know. Fucking Gen 8, I guess.
Gen 8 is all household appliances. Well, they've already got those with fucking Rotom. What am I talking about?
Yeah, they kind of fucking went a little fast there with that. Gen 4?
Gen 4, I said Lucario.
I said Lucario.
Lucario's badass.
Yeah.
I use Lucario sometimes when I'm playing still. He was the first Mega Pokemon that was introduced in any of the games.
Yes, I played that game.
He's the first one you encounter. He's
I did
in
a thing.
Smash Bros.
And this is part of my point. I like to think that Lucario is the Chris Pratt of Pokemon. He's good looking. He's everywhere. Like, there was that period of time where they put him in Pokemon X, they put him in Smash Bros, and then, like, shortly after they put him in Pokemon Tournament.
Yes.
He's literally fucking everywhere. But everyone still loves him.
He was in one of the Pokemon movies. He was a non-legendary Pokemon to have a major role in one of the Pokemon movies.
Didn't know that?
Yeah.
Cool. Gen 5?
I said Mayan Shao.
I don't know that one.
His arms kind of look like he's wearing these really long, baggy sleeve things.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of reminds me of some kind of drunken boxer, kung fu master type guy, but...
Is that the one that his arms look like those little sticky things you used to get in the 90s that were like a big sticky rope with a hand on the end? And you like throw it out and it would stick to shit.
Maybe?
Do his arms look like that?
I never thought of it like that.
What's how do you spell that?
M-I-E-N.
Yep.
S-H-A-O.
Nope, that's not Pokemon I'm thinking of at all.
I don't know who the fuck you're thinking of.
Oh, I don't know. We'll bring it up later.
When I play through Gen 5, I like using Mine Shao. I'll usually give him the move U-turn, which after you use it sends him back to your party. But he can have the ability Regenerator, so every time he goes back to your party, he regains a chunk of his health bar.
His arms kind of look like he's cold, and he pulled his arms all the way into his hoodie and just let the sleeves kind of hang around.
There's a character from the Bloody Roar fighting game series.
The Bloody Roar fighting game series. I've heard of that.
I used to play Bloody Roar a lot.
Okay.
When I was younger. It was one of my more preferred fighting games. And I believe it's Yuriko?
Okay.
The character that... Yuriko is one of the characters. And her sleeves dangle over her arms like that too. And that's who Mine Shao reminded me of the first time I saw it in Pokemon. Was one of my favorite characters from a fighting game I played a lot of on the GameCube.
Nice.
So
that's why I don't know. I barely played any GameCube.
Well, that's why I decided to give Mine Shao a shot.
Nice.
And ended up using a lot of it.
For Gen 5, I said, is it pronounced right, sock and throw?
Yeah.
Because who doesn't love karate Muppets?
Karate Muppets.
They are Muppets.
They very much look like Muppets.
They do.
But one is supposed to be more striking martial arts, like karate and stuff like that, and the other one is supposed to be judo.
Oh, okay.
Throw is judo, and sock, like you sock someone, you punch them.
Gotcha. So do they evolve into Ernie and Bert, or do Ernie and Bert evolve into them? And where does Grover come into play?
Gen 8.
Okay. Gen 6.
Oh my god, I'm never going to be able to look at them the same now.
No, they are like
I can't unsee that.
Some of these I had to sit and just kind of analyze a little bit as soon as I saw them. I'm like, holy fuck, it's fucking Muppets. Yeah. I'm expecting to see Kermit. Kermit's a grass type though, so different episode.
Kermit could be grass water.
Grass water.
Yeah.
There you go. Gen 6.
I said Pangoro.
Pangoro. Yeah. That's is that the fully evolved, or is that the
Pancham is the small little cute one. Pangoro is the big pissy looking one.
Yes. The big pissy panda bear.
Yeah. Big pissy panda.
I think I used him a bit when I played that.
Yeah.
I think so. I don't remember that well. I definitely evolved. I got the evolution. I'm not sure if I ended up using him later on.
I used him in my first playthrough of Gen 7.
Okay. Yep.
I managed to get him, and I used him just because
nice.
I like having a dark type in my team. I also like having a fighting type, so I figured 2 birds with 1 panda.
Good. I speaking of birds, I said Halucha, because I've never seen a luchador hawk before, and there's no jokes to be made about this. It's just a luchador hawk. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It literally has lucha in the name.
Yep.
But I know he's supposed to be flying in his picture that I have here, but he looks like he's just jumping off the top turnbuckle.
Well, that's his whole thing.
Does he have turnbuckles?
He has a move called flying press.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah. Now I just want to put on my luchador mask that Emily brought me back from Mexico.
I've got one my parents brought me back from Mexico. We're going to have to get a picture sometime.
we both got them around the same time too, because it was within a week of each other that my girlfriend and your parents both got back from Mexico and brought us both back luchador masks.
Mine's like a royal blue with white.
I think mine's like green and silver.
Nice.
I think it's right here on the fucking shelf. I'm gonna grab it.
I'm gonna jump into Gen 7 while you're grabbing that. Nice. Oh, you got the red and green. Like, that's pretty cool.
Charlotte's coming back in now, so she's gonna walk in on me wearing a luchador mask, and I hope her reaction doesn't disappoint me. Oh, so are we on Gen 7 now?
Gen 7. Who'd you say?
I said Buzzwole.
That's how you pronounce it. I said him too.
Yeah, one of the Ultra Beasts. It was him or Faramosa, and Charlotte's laughing at me wearing my luchador mask now. But no, he's funny looking. He looks like a mosquito that sucked some blood from Rich Piana.
Well, I'm gonna argue that it looks like a mosquito that's been taking illegal substances.
Well, that's why I said sucking on Rich Piana, because the dude looks like he...
Oh, I didn't get the reference.
Brushes his teeth with steroids.
I said him because he kind of reminds me of Chris Benoit.
Oh, I'm fighting the urge to make awful jokes right now.
Leave it.
We've already made some awful jokes this episode.
I'm just going to say, if they did drug testing for Pokemon battles, he would not pass.
Yeah.
It would be thrown. He'd win, but it would be thrown out.
Yeah. He would... Yeah. He's definitely the A-Rod of Pokemon.
Yeah. What'd you say for your overall?
For overall favorite, I said Lucario.
I said Buzzwole because I'm scared if I don't, he'll find me in a back alley.
Roid rage on you?
Exactly.
He'll shit in your purse. Apparently Randy Orton did that.
What?
I read somewhere that Randy Orton did that, and people were blaming mental instability due to steroid abuse.
Oh no.
But apparently he was stalking this girl and shit in her purse. He took her purse and defecated in it.
You know, I didn't think I could get surprised by news anymore, but never mind.
I'll fact check that later after recording this episode. So I will say right now that may not be true. I may have misread that, but I'm going to fact check that after this episode. Feel free to fact check it for yourself. If I was wrong about it, it's funny to think about anyway.
If it's not true, make it true.
Yeah.
Believe it into existence.
Yeah. If you're listening, Randy Orton, please poop in a purse.
Let's move on to ranked. Today we're going to rank the top 5 X-Men films.
Yes.
That being anything set in the X-Men universe, Deadpool included, I assume is probably going to make these lists.
Yeah.
You want to start it, or?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
So I'll start with number 5, and then I'll work my way to number 1, and then you can do the same.
Yep, and then we can discuss them. Afterwards.
Okay. So number 5, I said the first X-Men movie.
Okay. Yeah.
I was so excited for it when I was a kid. Yep. When it first came out, I was like, fuck yes, this is everything I've always wanted from a comic book movie. I was so happy to see X-Men on screen. Ray Park as Toad. Mm-hmm. It had so many things I wanted. X-Men
was what, 2000?
Somewhere around there.
So I was 10 years old, and that was one of the first times that... there were earlier exceptions, but that was the first time I got to see characters I only really knew as cartoons adapted into live action.
Yeah.
And it really kicked off the superhero movie. Let's be real, Iron Man kicked off what were the kind of second coming of it, but X-Men is what started the 2000s era with the Spider-Man movies and the Fantastic Four movies, and Blade and Hellboy and all that.
Yep.
And I watched it recently again, and it does hold up, but most of it is nostalgia, I think. Like, it is good, but I'm definitely,
The thing that cracks me up the most about the first X-Men movie, though, is the difference in Hugh Jackman's physique. Because, I mean, I understand why he wasn't as ripped and jacked. He wasn't as Jackman in that movie, but then you have these movies that are supposed to be prequels to it, and then movies that are supposed to be sequels to it.
Well,
he's jacked and cut in all of them.
Sometimes people keep up with exercise, sometimes they let themselves go a little. That was just a period of time where he was like, nah.
He was just hitting the bottle hard. I mean, Rogue did find him in a dive bar.
Yeah. Then again, what X-Men movie doesn't feature Wolverine at a dive bar?
Yeah. But
Somehow.
I mean, like, even in Logan, he was more ripped than that.
Yeah.
But I like, it was the first one.
Yeah.
I understand why he wasn't as ripped in that one, and they just got him more and more cut as the movies went on. But, yeah.
But it holds up 17 years later, so.
Yeah, it does. Number 4, I said Days of Future Past.
Nice, yep.
I had a few issues with that movie, but nothing that really made me hate it.
Mm-hmm.
The whole them sending Wolverine back to the past thing did bother me, especially since Bishop was right fucking there.
Yeah, but let's be real. Who's going to hold the movie? That guy? Who is it?
He's their cash cow.
Is it Omar Epps? Is that the guy who plays Bishop?
Off the top of my head, I'm not sure.
No. Is it? Fuck, I think it is.
Yes, Omar Epps is in house. But I'm just pulling up the IMDb.
What is the guy's name?
Days of the Future Past.
How fucking off was I?
Let's see. Full cast and crew.
What's that dude's name? Bill Cosby, wasn't it? Jesus.
God. Omar Sy.
Hey! Not that bad.
No.
Okay.
But they really underused Bishop in that movie. He had like one speaking line.
Like
a character I've been waiting to see all these years in X-Men movies. They finally put him in. He has one speaking line. It's pretty much Bishop's big claim to fame from like the X-Men animated series in the 90s was this whole thing where he came back in time to stop this assassination, and they didn't use him properly.
I gotta be honest, for a very, very long time I forgot about Bishop. When I was a kid and watched the X-Men animated series, I loved Bishop. And I never did get the action figure, but he was the one. He was one of the ones I really wanted.
Yeah.
And I forgot about him until they announced he was in Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
And it was this, like, I had this like flash of Bishop. Holy shit, Bishop.
Yep.
I forgot he existed, right? And then I started going back and watching the cartoons, and so disappointing that like it was. They did him well, but they didn't do enough.
Yeah. I mean, it gave us Quicksilver.
Yeah, and let's be real, Hugh Jackman's going to lead the movie, right?
Yeah.
Unless they're doing
it was a good movie. Despite my few issues with it, I did very much enjoy it. If you looked at me right now and said, let's watch one of the X-Men movies, that would be one of the ones I would gravitate towards first.
Yep, me too.
Number 3?
Before you move on, I want to say Days of Future Past, when it was announced and when the set photos leaked, I did not like the idea of it. I wasn't looking forward to it. I didn't want to see it. I thought it was going to be terrible. And then I watched it and it proved me wrong. Yeah. And in my opinion, it's one of the best X-Men movies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 3, I said X2. That was a solid movie. The intro to that movie with Nightcrawler?
Yep.
God damn.
I gotta admit, I know...
That Cody McPhee kid from X-Men Apocalypse had no chance of doing Nightcrawler justice after... Was it Alan Cummings?
Yeah, it was Alan Cummings.
Yeah. He will always be Nightcrawler to me. Yeah. It will take a lot to fill those big blue shoes.
I know X2 is one of the higher rated X-Men movies, and it's got a big following. But I really don't care about it.
No.
It doesn't do much for me. Like you're right, the opening scene with Nightcrawler I really liked, but
the mansion scene where the soldiers are coming in and Wolverine is just wrecking house on them.
I don't know. It just didn't.
It gave me so many characters that I very much enjoy. Like it gave us more focus on Iceman and Pyro.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Yep.
It gave us Colossus.
Yep.
The mansion scene with Wolverine taking out on the soldiers was great. The opening scene with Nightcrawler in the White House, fantastic. That scene where they're at Iceman's house and the police confront them and they shoot Wolverine in the head and then Pyro just starts putting the place up. Great.
Yeah, you're right. And it's not even that I don't like it. It's just, I don't know. It's just kind of somewhere in the middle for me.
Yeah. I really liked it. Number 2, Logan.
Mm-hmm.
It was such a great movie. It was long, but it didn't feel long. No part of Logan felt unnecessary to me. There were parts that made me laugh, parts that made me cry. There was action that had me on the edge of my seat. Nothing in Logan felt unnecessary. There was no part of that movie that I felt was just unnecessarily placed there, dragging on. Everything was relevant in that movie.
Yep.
Even with how long it was.
100%. Stephen Merchant blew me away. I didn't expect that of him. Patrick Stewart at this point shouldn't be able to surprise me with his acting, but he did.
That portrayal of Charles Xavier was fucking awesome. Not anything I expected, but it was still great.
And who's the little girl? I don't remember the actress's name.
I have no idea her name.
She was insanely good.
Yeah. Whatever her name was playing X-23 was...
She was fucking fierce.
Oh my god, yes. I hope she has a great career.
Yep. Me too.
She has so much potential after that movie.
All the scenes where Professor X is having those episodes,
yes.
And he's kind of slowing down time, or everyone's freezing. I don't know the exact science, what was going on there, but those scenes, every single one of those was, like, in my opinion, on the level of like the Quicksilver scenes. Like, you can't look away, and you just want to watch it over and over.
It was so intense.
Yep. Before you move on to number 1, I've realized that our lists are really, really close.
Yeah.
So I think we have the same number 1 here. So I'm just gonna run through my 5-2 and just keep because we might as well do this together with how close these are.
With number 1.
Yeah.
All right.
My number 5 was X-Men First Class, which I don't know if that's your number 1. I don't know, but I got a feeling it's not. I really like First Class mostly because I'm a big Matthew Vaughn fan, and that came out the week of my birthday, so I went to see that like the day it came out, and I loved it. And I really like that they used some different mutants in there, Havoc and Banshee and a couple others. And
which X-Men movie did we go see together in St. John's?
We went to see an X-Men movie in St. John's?
Yes.
Nope, you guys went to see Days of Future Past, and I didn't go because I thought it was going to be stupid. That's what I'm thinking. I went with Brandon to see First Class.
There was one X-Men movie that I saw in St. John's, and went downstairs and talked to Charlotte after the movie when she was
because I think you might have been staying at our place.
I was staying at your place, and I went with Brandon and Matt Ingram.
Yes, and you guys invited me, and at the time I was like, Days of Future Past, that movie looks fucking stupid. And then it ended up being like one of the best X-Men movies.
Yeah.
The time with the Maleficent.
Yes.
So First Class, I loved. Number 4, I said the original X-Men.
Nice.
Which is pretty close where you got it. Number 3, I said Days of Future Past. And number 2, I said Logan. We've talked about all those movies. I mean, we're pretty much neck and neck. You had X2 in there. I don't really care for it.
Yeah.
I had First Class in number 5, which I'm going to guess isn't far off your top 5 just because I know you don't hate it as much as Apocalypse and some of those other
First
movies.
Class?
Yeah.
I'd say First Class was probably number 6 for me.
Yeah. So, number 1.
Wolverine Origins.
Clearly. Actually, Origins, I went with the Wolverine because I really like the CGI on the fucking Silver Samurai. I don't know. I didn't care for that movie either.
You know what? I probably like Wolverine Origins more than I like The Wolverine.
You know, Wolverine Origins is awful, but at least it's awful in a way that you can kind of laugh at it, whereas The Wolverine is just kind of boring.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really recall much of the movie because I just don't care.
I've only seen The Wolverine twice. I watched a download with incomplete CGI
Really?
of Wolverine Origins more times than I've seen The Wolverine.
That sounds interesting, actually.
And at the time, when it came out, I was just happy to have any form of Deadpool, even with his mouth sewn shut.
Yeah.
And especially the fact that, like, everyone was on this big Wolverine hype train. I was stoked to see even this bastardized Deadpool smacking Wolverine around, where it took Wolverine and Sabretooth teaming up to put him down.
Yeah.
And it still didn't put him down, because if you watch the hidden scene at the end, he cuts his mouth open and says, shh. So he's still fucking alive. But
The one redeeming thing for me with Origins was Liev Schreiber was actually a pretty good Sabretooth.
he was fantastic as Sabretooth.
I mean, he wasn't quite the Gambit they did. Who was it?
Taylor Kitsch.
I got nothing against that guy's acting, but what a fucking terrible Gambit.
Yeah. And I was so stoked for Gambit because
Yeah.
I love Gambit.
Me
He's
too.
one of my favorite X-Men. And they dropped the ball on that.
Yep.
But seriously, and not joking around about Wolverine Origins anymore, I think it's safe to say we both have Deadpool as number 1.
Yeah. 100%. The one movie that's not an X-Men movie, if you're really arguing it, but yeah, I mean,
But it's still Fox. It's still the same universe.
Yeah.
It has the X-Men mansion. It has literally a couple X-Men in it.
Colossus is so good. I forgot how good he was.
Yeah.
That's the best adaptation they've done of Colossus, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I just like, for me, with movies, I really like a movie that I can just have a really good time watching. Even if it's not a comedy, even if it's just a big sci-fi blockbuster, if it's fun, you know?
Yeah. See, I have such fond memories of like going and seeing Deadpool in theaters. I was so excited for it, and so were a bunch of my friends. So we bought a bunch of tickets. I bought a bunch of tickets, and everyone paid me back when they got there. We took up 2 full rows
Nice.
in the theater here in Corner Brook. And one of my friends said that, like, if I paid for his ticket, he would make chimichangas.
Seriously?
Yeah. And so he shows up, I have his ticket, and he looks at us and he's like, guys, I have such a warm, fuzzy feeling inside. Or maybe that's just all the hot burritos inside my jacket. And he opens up his jacket when we're sat down, and he had like 7 or 8 chimichangas made and wrapped in tinfoil. And the dude's a good cook. So they were great, but like the dirty looks I was getting from like the sound of the tinfoil unwrapping in the theater during the previews. But here I am, sat in Deadpool like a kid in a candy store, eating a delicious chimichanga. And the movie was just everything I hoped for. The soundtrack was great. It was
man.
perfect. I actually had to go see it 3 times in theaters to catch every joke, because there were some points where people were just laughing. The theater was so full of laughter that I missed certain lines.
Yeah, because it's kind of joke after joke, right?
Yes.
I gotta be honest, when they first announced it, not when they showed the animated short scene, but before that, when they were talking about doing a Deadpool movie and Ryan Reynolds was attached, I mean, that was going on for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a terrible idea. I thought Ryan Reynolds was a terrible choice.
Why?
Because I saw him in Origins, and honestly, outside of Deadpool, I'm not a big Ryan Reynolds fan.
I'm not either.
But he proved me wrong.
Yeah.
Like, I still don't care for his other movies, but I love Ryan Reynolds as a person now, just because of the movie and everything associated with it, all the social media stuff he's been doing with the hilarious Deadpool Wolverine tweets.
Yeah. Well, even like the elevator scene in Wolverine Origins, Ryan Reynolds playing Wade, and they shut off the power, and he's like, great, trapped in an elevator with 5 guys on a high-protein diet. Yep. And then he goes out and he slaughters a room full of people, and he's just like, okay, the bad guys are dead now. And, like, yeah, he's perfect in that, like, as Wade Wilson in that beginning part.
He really was. I mean, I don't know. I can't think of any criticism. The director Tim Miller, I think besides Deadpool, he's only ever done like short animated videos.
Yeah.
And I mean, now I feel like his options are unlimited at this point. Like he can do whatever kind of movie he wants.
Mm. So do you want to call that ranked and move on to Fantastic?
Yep. Let's move on. That's Fantastic. We're going to cast the X-Men. And I assume we'll be doing sort of a reboot here.
Okay.
As in not casting within the current films.
Yeah.
And we left it open in terms of which characters, whichever 5 characters we wanted to do.
See, I deliberately tried to take a different road.
Yeah.
I decided Ryan's probably going to pick some of the more main staple characters, so I tried to pick characters I didn't think you would pick.
Everyone I picked has been on screen at some point, whether it be as a main character or as a side character cameo. And I just try to come up with a cast of 5 X-Men that I thought would make a good team, and then cast it around that.
Let's hear yours.
So we want to go one at a time, or want to go back and forth here?
Let's go back and forth.
Okay.
Or, no, let's go one at a time. One
Okay.
at a time.
Okay. So the first one I said is Gambit, because
Yes, please.
we fucking need a good Gambit. And
We do. The Channing Tatum thing got put on hold. Say what you will about the guy for doing like Magic Mike and shit like that. I like Channing Tatum. I think he's a good actor. He was great in the Jump Street movies.
He was.
I was excited when I thought he was going to be Gambit.
And I wasn't sure if he could pull it off until I saw The Hateful Eight. He's in it very briefly, but he has that sort of southern drawl that would be perfect for Gambit. And my first choice would still be to keep Channing Tatum, even if they're rebooted. But if that doesn't work out and they can't have Channing Tatum because of whatever fucking contract bullshit or whatever, Chris Pine from Star Trek and the upcoming Wonder Woman. Well, actually, as a release of this episode,
Wonder Woman will be out by the time we release this episode.
Yes. I think Chris Pine could do it.
I can see it.
You need to get the voice right. You got to have that
New Orleans. Yeah.
But he's got the attitude, he's got that sort of slyness.
Got
about
that
him.
swagger.
Yeah. So that would be my pick if you can't get Channing Tatum, because Channing Tatum is my first choice there for sure.
Speaking of Gambit, I can kind of see Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Oh, yeah.
He's lean. The way he looked in The Dark Knight Rises.
Yep.
I can see him as Gambit.
So long as they don't just put him in as a character whose middle name ends up being Gambit. It's revealed at the end.
Remy Gambit LeBeau.
No, not even that, because Remy LeBeau, people like at least fans would be like, "Oh, that's Gambit," like just
John Gambit Park.
yeah. There you go.
What?
Okay. I said for my second choice, Rogue, because we haven't seen Rogue in a while. She was in the earlier movies. She's in the what was it, like a special edition of Days of Future Past.
Yeah, the Rogue cut.
And Anna Paquin, whatever.
Paquin.
She was pretty good as Rogue, but I think we could do better.
Plus the Gambit Rogue.
I said Natalie Dormer.
Who's
From Game of Thrones. She's in Hunger Games. She had a brief appearance in Captain America. 1 second.
I'll
Google
her.
Okay, you Google her. She's a talented actress. She has the look of Rogue, and fuck, what was I gonna say?
Oh, that.
Yeah,
girl.
and she's done a lot of action sequence based shows and movies, so I feel like she could handle that side of it as well. Because I mean, there's the side of casting someone and then casting someone who actually can pull off fight scenes, right?
Yeah.
Number 3, I said Iceman, because I wasn't really fussed on the guy they had. What's his name? Sean Ashmore.
Yeah.
I wasn't big on him as Bobby Drake. Is that Iceman?
Yeah. Bobby Drake.
So I went with a totally different take. Daniel Kaluuya from Get Out.
Really?
Yes.
Because I have him cast for someone as well.
Oh yeah,
I do.
Different character.
Different character.
Cool. I haven't seen Get Out yet.
It's good.
I'm dying to see it. I've literally only seen him in one episode of Black Mirror, and the trailer for Get Out. That's all I have to go on. But he's so fucking talented, and I already want to see him in a ton of stuff. He's in Black Panther apparently as a minor character.
Cool.
But yeah, I thought that would be a cool take on Iceman.
Yeah, I can see that now.
Jubilee, because I think we can all agree
they need to do her right, because they've done her a couple times now, and she might as well have been called Asian female teen.
Yes. At least they put her in somewhat of the outfit in Apocalypse, but I mean, they still...
But they never... Like, not even a post-credit scene or, like, a little victory celebration at the end. Not once does it show her using her powers. Like, they even put her in the little group of 4 with Jean, Cyclops, and Nightcrawler that goes to the mall, goes to the movie, and comes back from the mansion, or comes back after the mansion's been destroyed. And they never even so much as use her name or show her even... like having a single spark come from her fingertips. Such a waste.
For Jubilee, I was trying to find someone with the appropriate age, because in the comics and cartoons she's kind of younger.
She is younger, yeah.
But then I thought about it, and there's this... I'm not going to get political here, but there's an issue in Hollywood with a lot of older actresses not being able to get parts in movies because of a lot of the sexism that goes on in Hollywood. So I thought, you know what? If someone older can do it, then fuck it. And I found an actress who's older, but at the same time looks young enough that it would be all around great. Ellen Wong, better known as Knives Chow in Scott Pilgrim. I think she's in like her 30s or something. Like, she looks way older than she is.
I thought you were going to say Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell as Jubilee. Oh shit.
No, but yeah,
she's funny. She again can handle fight scenes. Oh, that's something I don't know about Daniel Kaluuya. I don't know what he would be like in. I mean, he's in Black Panther, so maybe he's got something like that. But
about what, fight scenes?
Yeah. But then again, Iceman, a lot of it's going to be CGI
there's
anyway.
a bit of action in Get Out.
Okay.
That leads me to believe, like, if they need to do a bit of training with him to get him ready for a fight scene, that he'd be able to pull it off.
Yep. So Ellen Wong, I was thinking about Jessica Henwick from Iron Fist, but you don't want her playing two characters in the same universe, sort of thing.
Well, Marvel versus Fox.
Yeah, but I really want them to like
Merge.
in my dream adaptation here. This is an MC. This is all in the MCU, right?
That's fair.
That's what I want to see. But number 5, Wolverine.
Okay.
I know we've seen a lot of Wolverine, but I feel like
Too much Wolverine.
yes, unnecessary Wolverine. But I feel like restarting it and putting the costume on him. I think just putting the costume on him and playing more into the cartoon version of he's not that nice a guy sort of thing. Even given more cigars, like oversized cigars would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I casted Skeet Ulrich from Scream, and he's currently on Riverdale. I kind of forgot about him because
until you Scream is one of my favorite movies, and until you said it just now, I forgot Skeet Ulrich was a thing.
Or as he's better known, a poor man's Johnny Depp. He's in Riverdale, and he's a really good actor.
He was great in Scream.
He's actually fantastic. He plays Jughead's dad in the show, and he's a really shitty dad with he's in like a biker gang and he's an alcoholic, but he acts the shit out of that role. And I was watching it and I was thinking, like, this guy could do Wolverine.
Yeah?
Yeah, I really think so. And that would be my choice, even though he's like a year younger than Hugh Jackman is now. Fuck it. Wolverine always struck me as a lot older than the rest of the X-Men.
Well, he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, aside from him being born in 1890.
Yeah.
But he's always this older, grizzled figure that some of them try to look to as a father figure.
Yeah. I always found in the cartoons and comics, he struck me more as sort of the comedian from Watchmen.
Yeah.
Not to the same, terrible extent, but he... Not a friendly character. No. Just sort of this gruff sort of outcast that didn't quite fit in with the rest of the team.
Well, that's exactly how I've always seen him.
So that's my 5. What do you got?
My 5, I did not cast any of those characters.
Wow.
I thought you were probably going to stick with the X-Men team, so I went with villains.
Oh, okay. So this could be one big cast here.
Yeah. Well, aside from the fact that we both cast Daniel Kaluuya.
Maybe this version is the Iceman that is always Iceman. He's always ice, and it's CGI, and so he can
pull a Toby Kebbell too.
Yeah, there you go.
I cast the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants.
Okay.
And I looked at the team. I was looking at X-Men Evolution and the 1990s cartoon, and I was looking at those animated versions of the Brotherhood, trying to figure out who I would cast to be these villains. And the first one that came to mind was Toad. The only version of Toad that they've done, they had that minor version of Toad in X3, kinda-ish.
Yeah.
But Ray Park was great as Toad in the first X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking love Ray Park anyway. But I was thinking, if they were to reboot Toad, who would I cast? And I said Ezra Miller.
As Toad?
As Toad.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
I had Fantastic Beasts on in the background as I was...
I still haven't seen that.
Doing this list. And he plays a character in it. He's a little bowl cut, weirdo. And I was like, man, this guy, he's great in this. He looks like he's going to be good as the Flash.
Yeah, he does.
So, yeah, he can clearly do superhero movies if he looks like he's going to do well as the Flash. So I figured, why not? you combine his superhero skills from the DC movies with his being a little outcast weirdo with a bowl cut from Fantastic Beasts, I think he could pull off Toad. Daniel Kaluuya as Avalanche.
Okay. That's not where I expected you to go with that.
No. We haven't really seen Avalanche yet.
No, we haven't.
But in X-Men Evolution, Avalanche was probably given the most screen time out of the Brotherhood. And, I can't remember much of him from the 90s cartoon.
No, I don't remember.
There were a few episodes that had him.
Okay, yeah.
But he's a different face. We haven't really seen that character yet.
Yep.
So I figured, let's bring him in if we're going to do the Brotherhood. Avalanche and Pyro were two that you saw together in the 1990s cartoon.
Okay, yep.
And for Pyro, I thought Tom Felton.
Oh, yeah, yep. 100%.
Malfoy from Harry Potter plays Julian in The Flash.
Yeah, he's really good in The Flash, too, I gotta say.
He is. I really like him in that.
I need to catch up with the newest season of
Yep.
Flash.
Blob.
Of course. I definitely think we need a Blob in the X-Men. That sounds really stupid if you don't know the character. We need a Blob.
Yeah. They need to do it better than Kevin Durant's Blob from X-Men Origins. But Dan Fogler?
Oh, yeah, that guy. Shit, what's he in? What do I know him from? I know his face.
He was in that Balls of Fury ping pong movie. He was in Fanboys.
Fantastic Beasts as well.
And Fantastic Beasts.
Fanboys, yep, okay. That guy, yep.
Yep. I see Blob as being the comedic relief anyway, so I kind of wanted someone who could be funny.
Yeah, I could see that.
But also could get angry and be serious at points too.
I had to look it up. I gotta be honest. I forgot that Kevin Durant played Blob in Origins.
Yeah.
I forgot that happened.
Yep, it did. Scary enough. And for the final one, Sabretooth. Triple H.
What? You're not fucking around.
No. You look at Triple H, Paul Levesque, back when he had his long hair. You look at Triple H from Blade 3.
Yeah.
Doesn't he look like Sabretooth? He has the build for it. You give him that long hair and get him to grow a bit of a beard. Mutton chops even.
Yeah.
He looks the part. He's been in movies.
He has.
He's not the greatest actor, but you don't have to give Sabretooth a lot of speaking role.
No, Sabretooth just kind of yells anyway.
He didn't say pretty much anything when Tyler Mane played him in the first X-Men movie.
No.
He just pretty much just snarled and growled.
I gotta wonder now, was Liev Schreiber actually a good Sabretooth, or do I just like Liev Schreiber?
No, I thought he was a great Sabretooth.
Okay.
It's just the two versions of Sabretooth were so fucking different from each other.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the same universe, and
It's supposed to be same universe. I read some theories that Tyler Mane's Sabretooth was actually the son of Liev Schreiber's Sabretooth.
okay.
But then I was just left wondering, like, where'd Liev Schreiber fuck off to?
So, if this would all be one movie, we've got Skeet Ulrich and Triple H.
Yeah.
It might work. Maybe.
Yeah. But, again, I'm basing this picture of Sabretooth in my head not off of, like, the classic Sabretooth or the Sabretooth from the 1990s cartoon. I'm thinking more the long-haired Sabretooth, like, from X-Men Evolution.
Okay.
So, closer to the one from the first X-Men movie that Tyler Mane played.
Yeah, just a little, I don't know.
But more capable of speaking.
Yeah, and a little more fleshed out.
Mm.
Like a little more of a costume, because he just seemed like he was wearing a big fur coat.
Yeah. He was wearing rags and tatters.
Yeah.
It was like they used the same wardrobe that Tyler Mane had when he was in Rob Zombie's Halloween as Michael Myers. But I'm thinking, like, you kind of dress him similar to how you dressed Liev Schreiber. The trench coat type thing.
Yep.
Dress him like that, but get him to have the long hair and the mutton chops like Tyler Mane in the first one. And I think Triple H would be awesome as Sabretooth. He looks the part, and WWE is all acting anyway. What?
Stone Cold as Professor X.
Oh, Jesus.
He's already bald. Come on.
So am I!
Come on, have you ever wanted to see Charles Xavier with a goatee?
So a wheelchair, he's bombing around on a quad.
Oh, God. That's good. So,
I guess that's the point we end on, because we always seem to end on just a fucking ridiculous tangent.
I mean, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to have a bunch of wrestlers play the X-Men. Would it?
John Cena as Shadowcat.
Shadowcat?
I mean, John Cena could be Colossus, I guess, but...
I'm gonna say Mark Henry as Nightcrawler. Why not?
The Big Show as Magneto.
There you go. Well, how much fucking metal would they need to make a helmet to fit on that guy's head?
I don't know.
And
Brock Lesnar as Juggernaut. Actually, that might work.
Wow. Brock Lesnar is Juggernaut. He kind of already is. Just put the helmet on him and just well, hey, don't.
He kind of looks like Kane Marco.
Wow.
From...
Well, we landed on something good here. So, what if you didn't even tell Brock he was in a movie? Just pissed him off and said, "Hey, Brock, all these walls said fuck you. All these walls said you're a little bitch.
Run through that, we'll give you some beef jerky." But when he was in the UFC, that was pretty much his tactic. Just charge.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, he fights like Juggernaut.
Yeah.
He just runs at things.
Yeah.
And it works.
Yep. All right. So, any directors out there want to call us in for some consultations? We'll help you write some X-Men movies, and hopefully,
You know what?
the Karma Chameleon saga doesn't suck coming up.
Fox would never consider this, but Vince McMahon, if you're listening, I know you're desperate. Come on, you got money, we can make this happen.
Yep.
Even turn it into a live show.
Yeah.
WWE presents.
Yeah. Who would Hulk Hogan play?
Cable. With the mustache, though.
I heard some people talk of Kevin Nash playing Cable before they cast Josh Brolin.
I mean, no offense to Kevin Nash. No offense. I liked him as a wrestler. He seemed like a nice guy, but he can't really act, and he can dance even less so.
Kevin Nash was the worst part of the Magic Mike movies.
I thought he was the best part. My Magic, here's how I would rank the Magic Mike movies. I'd go Magic Mike, the first one, Magic Mike XXL, and then watching Magic Mike but only paying attention to Kevin Nash. Just watching Kevin Nash dance.
Yeah.
And that only. Like everyone else is doing very complex choreography, and he is just sidestepping like basic line dance.
Yeah. Like you'd see at the Legion on a Saturday night.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Yeah, let's end it on that.
Yep.
Thanks for listening. You can check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can find us on Podbean, iTunes, Stitcher, and you can find us at our website, www.jedidropouts.podbean.com. Thanks for dropping by.
And don't forget to drop out.